I'm so close to your spirit, but I'm so far away. There's a silence between us, so much to say. You're my strength, you're my weakness, you're my faith, you're my doubt. You gotta meet in the middle to work this thing out. More love, I can hear our hearts crying. More love, I know that's all we need. More love to flow in between us, to take us and hold us and give us a love. If there's ever an answer, it's more love. We're afraid to be idle, so we fill up the days. We run on the treadmill, keep slaving away, till there's no time for talking about trouble in mind, and the doors are all closed between your heart and mine. More love, I can hear our hearts crying. More love, I know that's all we need. More love to flow in between us, to take us and hold us and lift us above. If there's ever an answer, it's more love. Feel more love. Just look out around us, people fighting their wars. They think they'll be happy when they settle their scars. Let's lay down our weapons, be still in mind. Do you think you Heather for the words not coming up? More love, I can hear our hearts crying. More love, I know that's all we need. More love to flow in between us, to take us and hold us and lift us above. If there's ever an answer, it's more love. I can hear our hearts crying. More love, I know that's all we need. More love to flow in between us, to take us and hold us and lift us above. If there's ever an answer, it's more love. More
All right. Can we get this slide up for the text to give? All right, here's what we're going to do. I want everyone to pull out your phone right now. Everyone pull out your phone. I know, but I need you to turn it back on because there's no pre-planning. This is very important. You're not going to give any money right now, so you can rest assured you're safe. All you're going to do is text GIVE to that number so you can start setting up so at some point down the road, if you feel like giving money through your phone, it'll already be set up and ready to go. So if you text GIVE to that number, it's going to give you a link to go and just put on your information. Once your information's in, at any point in time, you can do this. Right now, I am going to send $1 to Unity of Boulder. I'm already set up. I open my text screen, I simply put in the number 1 and I hit send. I just sent $1 to Uni of Boulder. Okay, so we take a nice deep breath and we just settle down into our seat, into this space, into this awareness, into this calm and quiet. Falling into the arms of gratitude, where we rest and we are cradled in comfort. Grateful that we chose to be here today. Grateful that we get to be here today, to be a part of this blessing, this experience, with this room full of beautiful, amazing people on the same path that we are. But not just in this room, around the world, watching online, worshiping in other churches and synagogues and temples. Right now, on this Sunday morning, all of us on the same path. Different flavors, but the same path to the same source. We're so grateful that this is happening right now, and we are a part of this experience. We're grateful for that source. We're grateful for God in our lives. We're grateful for the divine energy that flows in and through us when we are simply just open and aware of its presence. And we're thankful for all the volunteers giving of their time this morning in the kitchen, in the Sunday school, in the youth area, all of our greeters and ushers, everyone working in the bookstore, everyone giving of their time and their energy to help create this experience this morning. We are thankful, and we say amen. Thank you.
Sense of dread when I give up control and I let you hold me with no resistance in my soul. Now is the time when I let go of my fears and ambitions and sense of dread when I give up control and I let you hold me with no resistance in my soul. This is the day when I throw it all away to the fire of the all-loving one. Oh, now I have just what I need to be free, to feel who I really am. This is the day when I throw it all away to the fire of the all-loving one. Oh, now I have just what I need to be free, to feel who I really am. Here is the place where I fall into grace and release into the sweetness of your love. I surrender, I remember the light and the beauty that I am. Here is the place where I fall into peace of your love. I surrender, I remember the light and the beauty that I am. This is the day when I throw it all away into the fire of the all-loving one. Oh, now I have just what I need to be free, to feel who I really am. Oh, this is the day when I throw it all away to the fire of the all-loving one. Oh, now I have just what I need to be free, to feel who I really am. Who I This is the day when I throw it all away into the fire of the all-loving one. Oh, now I have just what I need to be free, to feel who I really am. One more time. This is the day when I throw it all away into the fire of the all-loving one. Oh, now I have just what I need to be free, to feel who I really am. Who I really am.
Thank you for that meditative way to start. Wow. I think I could just sit down in the audience and let them just do that for the rest of the hour. I hope I can be something even as good. Beautiful. Wow, what a blend. I mean, what a heart experience. I was back there, and it's like, I wish I could hear this every time I'm about to walk out and speak and just feel God so completely through two beautiful, powerful beings in this world. All of you guys are beautiful, powerful beings in this world. I want to start by just acknowledging that it's Father's Day and talk about my own father. You know, my sermon's not about Father's Day, but I wanted to acknowledge you and all that you are in my life. Being able to work with you by your side for 23 years. I mean, it's just an amazing life, Dad. And I would have never expected that as a child. And then in my adulthood, God called that to be a relationship that would help me heal this soul that I have. I came in as a happy kid, but I was kind of trouble, you know, just like looked for the darkness and everything. And he just walked alongside of me and just helped me come back into my Christ knowledge and my spirit, and always has been a mirror of pure love. And I'm just grateful, Dad. I love you more than life itself, and happy Father's Day. My husband, I need to recognize too, he's been the stepfather to my two younger children for about 6 years, and he stepped into that role in a way that I never thought he was actually capable from getting to know him for over a year. And he took that role and he ran with it. And he has a heart that He does all the homework with my son who has trouble in school every night, and he speaks to him with this sing-songy sound in his voice, and his patience rope goes forever. And I could just listen to it forever. Mike would have been an amazing school teacher, but I'm just so grateful that he came in to be my son's teacher and help him come into his wholeness. And Katya, my daughter, just adores him because he's playful and he's fun. And so I want to acknowledge my husband today as the most amazing father. He didn't have to, but he chose them to. Fathers are very important, and I think they come in different ways. It's not just your, blood relative fathers. We have men mentors that come into our life. We need that yin and the yang. That balance is so important, and we might have not had a great relationship with our fathers, but I hope that if you had that experience, you have found and plucked out of this world what God sent you to be, that male mentor, that beautiful energy that's so strong and vibrant and consistent and whole. So today my talk title is Dear Surrender, I'm Ready. And it's going to be about learning how to flow with God's perfect currents for identifiable healing and change, and to lean into Spirit's sent signs, to recognize that at every bridge of life, at every path of life, there are signs and symbols that are guiding our way. And a lot of times, and I talk about this a lot, we don't really look for the signs and the symbols until we get into turbulent waters. There's a tendency to start to seek God when things are falling away that we're attached to, or changes upon us with careers, or marriages are changing, or, whatever it is, something about having our life stop and be difficult will make us start going back to church and looking to which birds are speaking and chirping at us, and what is the meaning behind each animal, or whatever that is. And daily it's different. For me, when I go for my walks in nature, or I'm at my Nia dance classes, and what comes through, it's just different symbols that are showing me the way. But the surrender is something that I think we're all majorly seeking to find in our lives, to be able to live in a state of surrender where we can bend and move in and through every trial, every loving experience, every situation, and not sign up to have that contrast of no and stop, where we just stay stuck in our fear and our limitations, instead of looking at these things that show up that are difficult and recognize that they are actually there by God as well. All of it is. Good, bad, ugly, all of it is showing up to help us come up and overcome things that we are harboring and holding within our own selves. We think that the world out there is real, and we think that this human experience is real. But this is a talk about the unseen realms, the realms that are always working in and through everything that we're doing. And recognizing that there is a voice that's talking to us all the time. It's just a matter of, and it might not be through words, but there's something that's moving in and through your life. And if you're meditating every day and you're listening to beautiful music like that in your car, and you're harboring, a state of consciousness all the time, you will become much more keen to the messages that are in the beautiful experiences and the difficult ones. So I have this thing that comes up for me, and I know when it happens that it's a time to reflect and find out, what am I thinking about right now, or what am I doing? And it's the sound of a helicopter propellers taking off. When I hear the sound come into my existence, I know that it's calling me to recognize that I'm probably going down a road of a thought process, or I'm not living from my highest developed self. I'm going into the fear or the ego, or whatever you want to call it. Something's going on, and that sound is like Spirit's way to say, wait, stop what you're doing right now and think of what you just said to somebody, or recognize what you were just feeling about yourself. It's just a symbol that I have from Spirit. And that helicopter sound comes from a very tragic time in my life. And I share this, and you probably wonder why I talk about this, but it's something that is my life. It's a part of my life. And I had a baby at home that we had a 9-month perfect pregnancy, and then I had it at home, and immediately everything went crazy. And it was like ambulances were coming to save my child. And before I know it, I'm following ambulances to this hotel. It was just a surreal, experience that changes you forever. It was like your life is stopping literally in front of you. And my baby is getting tested for all these different things for hours, and we're kind of watching them doing x-rays and things like this in this room with piles of people that have flown in on a helicopter to help him try to save his life. And I'm observing this through a fog. I can't explain, God is carrying me. I'm not even crying. I'm not even hysterical. It's like there's no feeling. I'm literally observing a life that doesn't even seem like it's mine, really. And eventually, the doctor came in after hours, and I'm holding the baby, but he has all sorts of wires and stuff that's keeping him alive, and he says, "I'm sorry to let you know, but your child's condition is not conducive for life." Those are words that will never leave my experience. He's not conducive for life. And so this means that you could still have him taken to the Children's Hospital in Denver, but you're literally buying hours or days. And at the time, I didn't have any health insurance and really didn't have a lot of money at the moment. And all I wanted to do was save him, but I could tell my baby was suffering. I could see it in his eyes, and I'm holding him, and he's just staring at me like, "What are we going to do, Mom?" I'll just never forget how he was looking in my eyes. And, after lots of prayer with my ex-husband, we decided that, this is in God's hands, and if we take all these wires off, maybe a miracle will happen. But with that call, I heard the helicopter leave the hospital. And the sound of that helicopter abandoning me and my baby was the most time-stopped moment of my life. A sense of loneliness that I can't even explain. And I got to rock my baby for hours, and he did last a lot longer than he should have, but he did end up, I got to rock him I got to birth him to life, and I got to rock him into his spiritual body again. I know that he's still there, and he's still there in my life. But those propellers represent a time that when that helicopter left, God came in my life in a way that I can't explain. I was picked up by God in a way that carried me through the roughest days of grief that you could ever imagine. And I started to learn what the voice sounds like and what it is that moves in and through me and how to listen to this greater power, this greater love that lives within all of us. I also was shown in a astral projective moment, my grandmother came to me and actually got to show me that light tunnel that they talk about, and I got to see where he went. I felt the love of that. I wanted to go to the light with him so badly, I cannot tell you, but I had a daughter already here that was 11, and so my grandma was standing at the door of the tunnel saying, "You have to stay. You have to stay." And all I really didn't want to do was go back into feeling what I was feeling. But that brokenness and that heartbreak made my life stop, finally. Everything that I did to protect my spirit from being seen was no longer available to me. The masks that I put on to always look happy for everyone, everything that I did in my life, there was some sort of something so that I would come across like I was special, that I was strong, that I was all these things. And underneath it was this very fragile woman that really didn't like herself and definitely didn't love herself. So as the weeks went on in those dark days of grief, I now could separate between this is a spiritual experience first. The human experience is second. But so many of us go through life as if the human experience is all of it. And the things that show up in our life, like the difficult bosses or difficult spouse or difficult children or difficult whatever it is that you fill in the blanks, are the very teachers that are waiting for your attention. It doesn't have to be something as tragic that happened to Luca, but things do happen. In the human experience, really painful, hard things happen in life. And if we really don't grow our root system with this relationship, with this greater love, that you fill in a name that it's called, I don't care what you call. God comes in many names, many religions, and I have no identification with all of them. I am all of them, and I always will be. What is the name of that greater power, that greater love for you? And what is your relationship with that love? So, I've learned about the part of us that never dies. I have a constant communication with the other side, and I don't know if I'm talking to Luca, and I don't know if I'm talking to my grandmother, but I do know that I get visited all the time by the energy of this astral world, of this Akashic records world. And, you know, I had a son, same birthday, the next year. You can fill in the blanks and decide whether God replaced the baby or if he just finally, you know, obviously the body failed my baby or my body failed his body. That was a big guilt that I carried. But I got a healthy, huge baby the next year. It was like this, he looked like Rocky. He had something about him. He really looked like Rocky when he came out. It's like this little warrior was like, I'm coming in, and I'm going to come in, and I'm going to blow your life up with so much love. But during that phase, this book was incredibly powerful for me. You may say, but I am only human. This is the understatement of your life. You are not only human, you are also divine in potential. The fulfillment of all your goals and aspirations in life depends upon stirring up and releasing more of that divine potential. And there is really nothing difficult about letting this inner light shine. All we must do is correct the tendency to turn off our light when we face darkness. Let's reread that part. All we must do is correct the tendency to turn off our light when we face darkness. So, when I hear that helicopter sound, it's not a dwelling on the brokenness within me. It's an awareness of all that I learned during that phase of my life. The heavens opened up and flooded me with my entire being, my soul, body, and spirit, with an understanding. I see life from a perspective that I would have never, ever had if I hadn't been open in this way. I wouldn't have been open to receive it. I received pieces of this. I grew up in Unity. I was in YOU. I was the president of the group. I had the talk down. Don't worry. Definitely at that time I had the talk down. But now it was, how do I apply this message? How do I actually find joy again from this absolute depression? I wanted to know I could find joy after that. And I also wanted to know that I didn't identify my life as somebody that has lost a child, but someone who has seen the other side, that has gotten to learn the whispers of something greater, to know that in my dreams, when I have downloads of dreams that are so clear of me seeing the perspective of other people that I'm having problems with or situations that are tough, and they show me, this is where you're coming up short. I apply that and I believe it. I don't go, I wonder if that's from God. You know, I don't question when things are given to me, whether it is or isn't, because everything is God to me. Down to the little baby faces, the dog faces, to children looking at you over their shoulder, when you're at a grocery store and babies coo and play with you and they're not yours. I love that. I love playing with babies when the parents don't know that you're like playing in their little world. Amor fati is a Latin phrase that may be translated as the love of fate or love of one's fate. It is used to describe an attitude in which one sees everything that happens in one's life, including suffering and loss, as good or, at the very least, necessary. Or at the very least, necessary. So the helicopter sound is a compass for me. It's a compass that keeps pointing back to, do you ever want your life to get that difficult again, to have to relearn this lesson? Because at that point, I had my heart broken in many different ways in relationships and things like that, and I kept picking the same type of people. I kept being kind of abusive, controlling relationships. And this time, I knew everything that I was going to change, I'm going to never slide backwards into thinking that I wasn't worthy or good enough or lovable. All of those beliefs in myself were what was destroying my life. Not really accepting my body or my looks or my, whatever, all the stuff that we do, or my abilities or my brain or my intellect, I'm just trying to name all the different things that we hold out there that says, but I haven't attained this, so therefore I can't love myself and actually project the beauty that I am into my life and infuse it in every aspect. It's to recognize that it's not about a distant day someday that you achieve certain educations or certain levels of love from a partner or that's the day I'm going to finally show up. And I will finally be happy. It just doesn't work that way. You have to believe it to see it. And so if you're waiting for a distant day, the distant day is never going to show up. Because the law of attraction is only showing your insecurities that you think there's this distant day, so you keep not getting the distant day. You're coming from a place of the lack instead of seeing the abundance so that you can create more of the abundance. Like, thank you, God, I found my soulmate. Thank you, God. I'm going back to school. Thank you, God. I have the money to pay my taxes. Thank you, God. I am healing and I'm whole and I'm healthy. In a book called Love Without Conditions, he says it this way. Let me begin by saying that I speak through you only to the extent that you are willing to relinquish control. In that sense, you are not special. I can speak through anyone who has that willingness. What you hear has a great deal to do with what is already present in your mind. Each person who opens to my voice will hear it according to his own perceptions and preconceptions. That is inevitable. Each person who opens to my voice will hear it according to his own perceptions and preconceptions. That is inevitable. So it's really important for us to observe. What is our perceptions on life, and which ones are no longer serving you? Is this perception empowering me, or is this perception destroying me? These are really the two choices that we have. Or, what I'm harboring about myself, is that empowering me? Or what I'm harboring in myself, is that destroying me? Because To the level that we see upon ourselves of who we are is the level that you believe God feels about you. Do you realize that? So when you aren't feeling great or you don't feel thin enough or you don't feel like educated enough, all these things, you're actually saying that God made a mistake. When we are the perfect children of God, we were made in the likeness of God. So the ultimate potential is you in your exertion through this physical experience to the opening to your spiritual being as light. And it's the love that you are desiring out there. It's in you. You've got to start this way. We don't get it from others. It doesn't come from others. It's from the exertion this way. I want to give my life. I want to give my music. I want to give my heart. I want to be seen. I want people to know that within me is a longing for laughter and joy and peace and settle and relief. Lord, I want relief from the anguish of believing that something outside can hurt me, or something I'm harboring in my mind can hurt me, or something can be stolen or taken away from me, because the universe is honorable. So when things are stolen and taken away from us, that is an illusion of something that's being harbored in you that can be done. You believe these things will happen, and so those things happen. And when you don't believe that these things of the dark world can happen to you, they no longer happen to you. What are we harboring today? Like, I am freaking awesome. Who said that this morning? Hell yeah, I'm freaking awesome. Who else can come up with a positive statement that you started this morning? Yell it out.
Life loves me.
Life loves you.
Got joy in my heart.
I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Oh, I heard my brother start singing it. Do you want to come and sing with me, Shad? Understanding down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my... I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. God goes with you wherever you are. I am the embodiment of divinity, she says. Abundance happens to who, Daniel? It happens to you all the time. Abundance happens to me all the time. There's an Esther Hicks one that says, everything is always working out for me. That's a great one. Everything is always working out for me. What, Farouk? Thank you, God, for everything, is what Farouk said. Love is everywhere I look. Look at all these wonderful things we could be saying instead of the other things that we're saying. Like, no, kids, we don't have enough money for that. I'm just saying, those are the type of things. I say these things. I was like, wow, that's really prosperous of me to say to the kids. Oh, wait, you've got one. I am so blessed. Let's say that together. I am so blessed. That is good stuff. Okay?
There's a silver lining in every cloud.
There's a silver lining in every cloud. I like that a lot. You are. I like that. I am a prosperity magnet.
I always find a parking space.
That's good. I always find I have a friend that always says, we're going to use our parking angels and they'll find a spot. It's Chrissy, right? Is it Chrissy that says it? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to have to pass a bunch of slides because I'm running a little bit over, and that's okay. So I am doing a women's book group right now, and we're studying the book Marrow by Elizabeth Lesser. And it's a really, really powerful book, and we kicked off in an incredible way. Everybody came to my home, and it was just a sisterhood immediately. And near the end, I posted a question of the ladies for them to go walk around my land and ask themselves, if I really loved myself, I would like to answer that. So they were walking for 10 minutes in nature, and it was really interesting to watch these women all over. The wind just started taking off. They just went out there, and it was like this power was just being like, they were basically lighting up energy in a way that was so, so beautiful. And these are some of the answers that they came up with. If I totally loved and accepted myself, I would release my fear and feel my truth. I would walk barefooted and jump on a trampoline, which happened at my house. I would not be afraid to be who I truly am. I would allow myself to be seen. I would learn to receive as much love as I give. That's a really big one for women especially. To be able to receive as much love as we give, because it's so natural, really, as women to nurture everybody. And then we'll be last on that list, and then all of a sudden you've got a flu or something. You're like, oh, I know where that came from. I've been giving, and I forgot to ask for love back, or to receive love that maybe was even coming my way and I wasn't able to recognize it. So creating changes for better in all areas of life has to have this following practice. People who excel in the physical manifestation of their ideas learn to set realistic goals and to implement them in a flexible way, responding to the conditions at hand. If you want to understand what flexibility means, watch the behavior of a young sapling in the wind. Its trunk is thin and fragile, yet it has awesome strength and endurance. That is because it moves with the wind, not against it. When conditions are right for something to happen, it will happen without great effort. When conditions are not right, even great effort will not succeed. Moving with the wind requires a sensitivity to the conditions at hand. There are times to rest and retreat, and times to move energetically forward. Let's sit with that for a second. When something isn't moving forward and you're finding a door being shut, we move with the wind and we start to try to find where the door is open, because God never shuts the door. It's like Tai Chi. It's like, okay, I've knocked on this door a bunch of times. It doesn't seem to be opening. I think I'm gonna walk this way. And all of a sudden, the current is pushing you on your back, because this is the direction God is asking you to go.
When you can't find your direction and your heart won't guide you home, let go, and let God, When you're